All righty. Good morning, or nope, not morning, afternoon. Morning for you. Morning for you, right? It's 11 for you, Alicia?
Yeah, 11:01.
Nice. Awesome. Well, hello, everybody. Happy Friday, as the people say. People don't say that. I say that. But feel free to adopt that
I say
into your vernacular. Say what? Alicia?
Alicia? No, doesn't work.
I don't quite have the same. Don't quite have the same vibe. But good morning, everybody. Please say hey. We'd love to hear from you. This is the monthly Unghosted series. Very, very thankful for Alicia and his friendship as well, and wanted to do this on a Friday. And so I'm super pumped about this. For those of you tuning in for the first time, welcome. Let me give you a quick rundown of this. So Alicia and I used to live in Nashville together. He's in Seattle now. He's with the cool kid in Seattle. But Alicia actually used to hire, and I'll get Alicia to do a little quick background about himself. But Alicia used to hire from me. We became good friends, and we started this series back about 2 years ago, where we review each other's resumes and LinkedIn's, and we review it more from a hiring manager. Like Alicia is the hiring manager, and I'm reviewing it from an agency recruiter perspective. And so basically over the next course of 58 minutes, we're going to go over some resumes, LinkedIn's that were submitted to us through the Torque Discord. If you are not a member of the Torque Discord, please go to torque.community. We'd love to have you join the Discord. We'll be doing these once a month. We're taking people's resumes and LinkedIn's. We already have people's resumes and LinkedIn's, and we have somebody who is willing to interview with us. So Bjorn is going to interview with us. Bjorn, if you look like your profile pic, that will be wild. But Bjorn, you are the first and only. So Bjorn, I'm going to send you an email here in about 37 minutes at 1:40 my time. So in 37 minutes, 40 past the hour. So go ahead and bring you on. Alicia and I are going to ask you just a very simple question or two. You will answer it, and then we will critique you. If anybody else wants to do it, please drop it in the chat, and I will get either Jason or Angelos or whoever is here, obviously commenting, and to get you here as well. So if you are interested in joining us, please let us know. But before we dive in, again, my name is Taylor. I'm VP of Global Community here at Torque. I've been an agency recruiter now. I was an agency recruiter for 11 years, and really passionate about giving back and help people. I've helped hire probably over 1,000 engineers at this point in my career. I've helped engineering teams, probably around 500 engineering teams scale up their engineering organizations. So that's kind of my background. Alicia, if you want to give you a quick background about yourself, and then we will dive in.
Sure. Hey, everyone. So I have been a coder since I was a wee little lad, a baby coming out of the womb.
All right. Okay.
No, but I was a coder since I was, very, very young. But no, I took the non-traditional route when it was still early to kind of take a non-traditional route. I did my degree in physics, but really had to fight against the current of trying to prove yourself in a world where everyone only had CS degrees. And since growing, I got the opportunity to be a hiring manager and hire tons of other engineers, even people who are not in the engineering world, doing different types of roles. And since then, I pivoted my career, and now I'm on the product side of the world, so focused less on the how to build, but more on the what and the why we build. Still very much love to kind of work with people and help them grow in their careers and put their best foot forward. And so, yeah, that's why I'm here.
I love that. Noah, I see you. If you want to come on and ask you a question, we will do it. So Noah, I will send you an invite. So let's do Bjorn at 1:40, and then we'll do Noah at 1:50. So Noah, be ready to go at 50 minutes past the hour.
Yeah.
Yes, the Torque Discord is the place to be. Let's see here. God, with the chat is obviously very lively, trying to keep up. All right, so first person that we were going to do. First person, let me pull it up here. So I want to go with Michael Raymond, Emre. He is a very, very active member in our community. And so I want to go ahead and go over his resume first. He redid it based off our comments, Alicia.
Nice.
So we are going to see if he improved. Not improved. If you have any questions, please let us know. Again, if people tune in on my TikTok, we are live over at the torque.dev YouTube right now. So feel free to come hang out with us. So, all right, man, let's take a minute. Let's go through here. All right. That's my old one. He's saying that's the old one. Is that really the old one? Here we go. Here we go. He is right. So let me pull up this one. I was about to say, I was like, I don't think there's some changes in there. All right.
Oh,
There it is. There it is. There we go. He edited that a lot better. All right. Alicia, you want to dive in?
yeah, go back to the top. So it's funny. I'm glad that you presented the before and the after.
Yeah, right. Well, it kind of works. Everyone give me a hard time on the chat. Relax. It actually worked out. Worked out.
It was a feature, not a bug. No, I like it because so it actually, I didn't realize it, and so I was about to give the exact same feedback. So I'm it's a good test of my consistency in terms of feedback. Because the thing that I was going to say, would really make it better is what is right there, top line experience, 2+ years of software engineer with an additional 4 years of technical support. Like that was the biggest thing that I was going to say. Oh, this is what's missing.
Actually, the side by side actually did help. So
yeah, I think it's a big improvement. I think like it was already starting from a good place. I think we should kind of emphasize that. It had the right number of bullets. It had quantified statements. Over 3,000 integrations, ensure alignment with Logic Monitor. I love the letter revamp of issue tracking. Like showing that you were the key person, the SME, whatever you want to 3-letter acronym put in front of it, like that kind of stuff. That's really good. So I think there's a lot of awesome stuff. I would definitely be shifting this more to that call for sure, because it's got a lot more tighter. I think maybe the ways that I would challenge us a little bit more is what I don't see, and I would love to see a bit more called out is under Logic Monitor, what was the as a single bullet, just the technologies used, the languages used, that kind of thing. But otherwise, I think it's solid.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I don't want to spend too much time on here. Michael, I do have to say, very short, very to the point. I love it. I think, again, it's your hybrid observability platform, AI solutions, film and entertainment. Love that. Yeah, I call. Thoughts,
Yeah. Well,
Alicia? Yep, we good? We all in agreement?
Yeah. No, I think there's very little to say when it's solid. When it gives a very quick thing, it's this is exactly what when I got a stack of resumes that I'm going through, I want to quickly find the ones that I'm just going to put in my call list and then move on. So I don't need to spend 2-3 minutes. I'll probably ahead of the interview then start kind of going in, picking apart more of the details. But in terms of the first impressions, which is really what this is about, yeah, great job.
I think the last thing I'd say, Michael, throw in a last bullet point. I would like a little bit more technical jargon, summarizing what you used currently, and then also in the team lead role. So technologies used, list them all out again. Again, I've had a lot of conversations lately with hiring managers, recruiters. They control F search, right? So if I'm looking for, monitoring or a monitoring tool, and I don't see it in there even a few times, even though it seems redundant, I would throw that in there. Just the last bullet point, just have it all technologies. So, but otherwise, great job. Yeah, go ahead.
And super quick point. I didn't see a phone number. I can understand why you don't want to put your phone number, but if your phone number is
Sure.
not on your actual resume, put it there, because I have seen people who don't put phone numbers on their resumes, and I mean it forces people to only interact with you via email and stuff, which is fine and great, but like at some point, having the number there is always helpful. So if that
Yeah.
was a deliberate choice, I would add it back.
Absolutely. So I have a note about John Ferguson that he is applying. So this is actually a great idea. He's applying to Kelly Vaughn's role at Spot AI. So I don't know how, I wish we could like split screen here. So I'm trying to figure out how the best way to do this to make it easy on us. There's no way to really do this. Let's just
While you do that, I'm just going to quickly say.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, like, because I said phone number. I saw the comment phone number really. So tell me why you didn't put your phone number in if that was an intentional decision. But yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, John. First off, I mean, I will already tell you this. Like, experience 10 years, love this. Skill highlight 3 years, love that. Languages, love this. Other expertise. I know you're applying to Kelly's role. It's an AI company. It's an AI startup company. I love that you put that at the top right here. Software architect. I love technologies right here. You put wherever you want. I prefer last bullet point, but I love that. Reduce critical security vulnerabilities by approximately 25%. Drove shift-led approach. I'd be interested a little bit more with that on what you did. I like that you helped developer onboarding, mentor development team. How big's the development team? I'm curious with that. Is it one person? Is it 10 people? I love this. Love this.
Zoom in on it a bit more for me.
Yeah.
Turned 40, so I need to.
No, you're good. Is that good?
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, John. Like, if I didn't know you at all, don't. But like, I would say I love this resume. Alicia, thoughts?
I really like it. I think it's missing a couple things that would take me from really liking it to loving it. So stay at the top for a second longer.
Yep.
So like all the way to the top, all the way. Yeah. So here's my one beef with it right off the bat is that summary is just too long. And that's the part that it's kind of like what I always just impulsively hate is where I have to then go way down the page just to start seeing experience. And when the summary doesn't feel like a summary, that's when it becomes a bit of a challenge. So I would challenge you to find a way to kind of, 10 years is hard to summarize, but I think you can do it a bit more. And I think one of the things that is worth calling out, because I think it's only on your second page, not on your first page. If you've worked at a place like Netflix, that's worth calling out. Now, do you have to say Netflix? I don't think so, but you can say, I've worked at X number of enterprise software companies or Fortune 200, 100, whatever it is, like call those types of things out at the top and in that summary, because that's going to be an important thing that someone's going to want to see. It stands out and it's worth doing. The things like, growing expertise in AI and machine learning, innovation pathways and artificial, that's very word heavy and it's hard to kind of know what to do with it, to be honest.
Where?
Where? In the other expertise, like to say you're growing expertise in something is like, I just don't know. I would take that out of the summary maybe, and maybe either find a way to work that in at the tail end, because it's just not the most immediate thing. I'm not, if I'm hiring for a software engineer, I'm not looking for someone who is currently growing in AI and machine learning. Like I don't, in terms of what my main initial criteria is. I love it. I love that it's there, and that would stand out to me, but not looking at it as a summary. Just
so Kelly's company is an AI video surveillance company. It's not Kelly's company, the company Kelly works for. I know what he was trying to do here.
Okay.
Right. He wants to have something AI early in the resume to get Kelly's attention.
Got it.
Thoughts?
Then in that case, it's like there's so many words there that it gets lost. So I think you could still do it, right? I mean, put it in the tools. Just put AI, and maybe not AI, get more specific, right? But the point is like if you're doing something with, I don't think if it's video, I don't think you're doing ChatGPT, but like if you're using something specific, then call it out in the tools because that's going to stand out a lot more than just a more generic statement about AI.
So let me read you real quick. Some bullet points real fast on that job description for Spot AI that I think could be applicable. So the first bullet point, it says, what excites you? Working on and thinking about how the latest models across multiple domains such as Dino V2, Clip, GPT-4o, Gemini, applying these models to real-world physical problems to enhance safety, operations, and efficiency, working with data streams over 200,000 data points, and embedding a second, wrangling this into actionable insights with fast, accurate queries.
So I heard you say Chat GPT 4o. There were a couple of others that you
Clip, Gemini, Dino
so
V2.
If you have experience in all of those, I would put all of those in there, right? That's like if you have experience in one of them, put those in there, right? Like if they're being specific, then you
need to be specific.
Right. If they're just more generally and broadly looking at it, again, it's not to say that the sentiment is wrong. It's just that it's in the summary right now, and I don't know what to do with it in terms of the way it's laid out there. Whereas if you're saying, hey, you're looking for this tech, and I've got the knowledge in there, great. That's what I want to see, right? So that's where I think that can be tightened up a bit more. I still, again, I like it a lot. I just think it can go from I like it a lot to I love it with just those minor tweaks.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. Awesome. But John, I mean, overall, very, very good.
Yeah.
All right, next one. All right, getting to our boy, Jeff Jesse. Just had lunch with him yesterday with Dads in Tech. Where'd he go? All right. Let's take a second. All right. At least you want to go first this time?
Sure. I'd put this in the maybe category. On the lower end of the maybe, unfortunately. Not because of what's in there, just because, I mean, honestly, like it's how much cognitive load is this asking of me in the 30 seconds I'm going to review it?
Yeah.
So professional summary right off the bat. TWO2. Just put the number 2 in there because that's going to be more visible.
Well,
right?
I think grammatically, I think we're taught. I think anything like in a single like number or something, you're supposed to just do like that. Anyways, yeah. You there, Alicia?
Sorry, I totally my laptop glitched out for a moment.
No,
am I back? Am I good?
Yeah, you're back. No, you're not back.
Okay,
you're back.
Right. Yeah, glitched out for a second.
Okay.
I am.
Keep going. Keep going.
Oh, I am here. Okay. All right. So next, it's like professional experience. I think it's almost like the bullets are long, and then there's a lot of white space in between.
Yeah,
I'd make the bullets shorter, as best as you can. Go for it.
I think the white spaces are so Jeff is in the chat going, I sent the updated one to Jason. Angelos needed that. So Jeff, just send me the updated one then. Taylor, can someone send that to me on the team? We're doing great today. Taylor at torque.dev. Jason, anybody? We'll put that on hold right now. All right, so this is the before. This is the before. We're doing great. We're doing great. All right, let's go to. I'll see if it comes across my desk or not.
This would be embarrassing if this wasn't like the 7th one of these that we've been doing.
All right, I just commented in our Slack. All right, let's pull up another one real quick because we have Bjorn in 20 minutes. We have Jason's interview in 30 minutes. All right. I love this resume. I know I already hinted to it. Yeah, from now on, send to Angelos. All right, let's go through this. And by the way, y'all, when I'm doing the highlighter, like that's like where my brain goes to. All right. Lisa, you want to go
now? Stay on this page for just a bit longer, and you go because I want to. There's a couple things I was reading more. Closely.
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, Jacqueline, I think this has got to be bullet points up here, right? Like this is just words. Also, like I don't listen. This may be a hot take. I don't care that you're passionate about user experience. I will see in your resume if you are passionate, if you've done it, right? Like I think hiring managers right now need to know what you've done. They don't care how you feel. Okay. I'm passionate about, I don't know. I'll come back to it. My brain's not working, but like all I mean is like, I don't care what you're passionate about. I want to know what you did. So here I would say 3+ years as a software developer, right? I would say 3+ years software developer using C#. I don't know. I need you to bullet that out, right? I like the technical skills. This is good. I like all this, but I don't know what ID automation the company does. So I want a quick background about what ID automation does. First bullet point. A lot of this stuff in here is very technical. I like it. And then maybe another bullet point at the bottom what technology is used. But again, like Sunset Coast Partners, I don't know what Sunset Coast Partners is. Put a quick bullet point of who they are. Also, too, your resume reads a little bit like a task list, like just things you've done. I want to know, I think a good framework, and Alicia, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think a good framework is like, hey, what were you hired to do, and what did you do, and how did you do it? Like, I think that's a good framework, and I feel like I don't necessarily get that. I feel like there are good bullet points in this, but there's no story. It's not, hey, I came on to ID automation because of X, and my goal was to do Y, and here's how I solved it. It's just, I did a bunch of this stuff. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think frame the problem, give up, like let the cover your solution, cover the impact. Those are really important. So scroll up to the top once more for me, and I'll share. Like I would put this on the lower end of maybe almost into a no, and
interesting.
Really, like I'll tell you, it could easily, again, given the experience I'm seeing, it could easily be on the higher end of a maybe, even a call. It's just the formatting. So the big caution, maybe I'm on a mood today, but like it's the thing to remember is don't put in information that I'm not going to know what to do with. That kind of stuff is just really confusing to me, and it makes me worry in terms of judgment. And that's why I just want to call it out. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to be more nitpicky than I am comfortable to be publicly, but I will do it anyway. So be the innovation you seek. I don't know what to do with that. I love the idea. I love the sentiment. It belongs on a poster, it belongs on, your inspirational kind of like how you drive things. Does it belong on a resume? No. Please don't put it on a resume, because best case scenario, someone goes, okay, and it takes up space. Worst case scenario, you alienate the person that you are trying to get a job with, right? So like there are things that sometimes can alienate people. They might find it weird. They might find it, I don't know, like they might be cynical about those types of things. So
Yeah.
best to
Yeah.
just go with very like just the facts kind of stuff. That paragraph that's above the technical skills, I agree. Bullet point format, only keep the necessary stuff. Don't talk about your passions, but just show your passions. That's the better way
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
of
That's what
doing
I said. Yep.
it, right? Don't say that you know all that stuff, right? In the experience section, here's my biggest beef, and hopefully this was why, like, hopefully this lands and it'll become clear why it's right now on the lower end of the maybes and can easily move up, which is the third bullet point is the only one that matters as far as, or sorry, not the only one, but it's only by the third bullet point that you start getting into actual things that matter from a software development perspective. Gained experience about barcodes, I don't care, right? If I don't deal with barcodes, I don't really, it doesn't matter to me.
Right.
But then unique YouTube videos, that's great, but it doesn't matter if you're looking for a software developer, right? So that third bullet point, that's where you actually start talking about things that are core to the role. That shouldn't be the third point. And so those are the types of things where if I'm looking at it and applying some scrutiny about how is this person thinking and approaching the way they frame themselves, I would like move this to the lower end of the stack, because I feel like it's missing a lot in terms of those important judgment calls.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, very picky thing, like use normal bullet points. I just, it goes against, I think, a lot of just like, I think the human psyche where it's like, I got to be a little different and like be like you and like just format it a little bit to stand out. Listen, you can be different by literally just writing a good resume. You don't need different types of bullet points. You don't need to be the innovation you seek. That sounds like something any of you Severance fans like I am. Also, last night, the final episode was absolutely unhinged. But like, be innovation you seek. That's like the poster, where they hid like the secret passage to the tunnel, right? Like it's not. Don't do that. So I think from a formatting perspective, I think it's closer than a lot. But I think from a content and what's actually in there, it could use some work. So, but Jacqueline, I appreciate you a lot for being part of the community. Again, we want to be very upfront here to help people, because it doesn't help anybody if we just All right, let's see here.
And I'll say, like, boring resumes are good. Make your resume boring. Make your portfolio fun. Show your personality in your portfolio, in your GitHub. Like, you can do all sorts of like funny, silly stuff there. That's where you can shine. But your resume, you want it to be very, very like just the facts, cut and dry, so that someone can quickly assess, do they want to actually then click on your portfolio?
Yep. All right, Jesse. We apologize. I can't zoom in any further because of how I'm sharing it. So you just got to squint. Already a lot better. There you go. Hey, guys, just really get in there. 3 years of service now, JavaScript. All right. See, like I already have a much better idea of what Jeff does and who he is, right? So that's great. Accenture. So then I look at your resume and say, all right, this guy's been at Accenture since 2021, who's been there 4 years. I love that. Jeff, do we need to update the 3 years of experience to 4 years of experience? My only critique here is like, I don't love the italicized font. It kind of throws me off. There's also no need to bullet or to bold this, like, because you're already using numbers. Like I will already see that you don't need to bold it. And then there's projects. Jeff, I would say just take projects and put it up in here. I think that's the whole point of your resume is to highlight projects you've done. So let's make your resume a page long. So the way my eyes look, Jeff, whether it's right or wrong, I'm like, all right, this guy has done this experience. Oh, what's this project thing? Oh, it must not be real because it's not in his resume. Like, and that's just whether that's right or wrong. That's just where my mind goes. So thoughts, Alicia, on the resume as a whole?
Yeah, no, I huge improvement, huge improvement.
Yeah, huge
I
improvement.
totally agree. Move the project up into the experience. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, I honestly, again, this is one of those cases. I hate to say it because it's like this is obviously the template, and so it's so familiar, and so there it gives me less feedback. But there's a reason why it works. But I mean, like, I think the only thing that Taylor was spot on. Move that when that project is that big. I mean,
Yeah.
4.3. That just belongs in professional experience. I mean, I don't care if it's a personal project or what. It
Yeah.
belongs in professional experience. That's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Would love to see Jeff. And again, I'm not. This may be a little bit of naivete on my part. There's also not a lot of just technical jargon, and I don't know if that's just the way ServiceNow is. But like all I see is some technical languages up at the top, and then the rest of it's just like all the things you've done to decrease. You've listed accomplishments, right? But again, you got to tell me what you've done and then what you did to solve it. Like, how did you solve it? Right. So implemented reusable components, standardization, coding practice, quarter page by 30%. Are there like technologies listed with that? Like, did you do that with the technology? Did you just like, like what'd you do with it? Right. And so I want a little bit more technical stuff. Alicia, thoughts on that?
I don't. Yeah. I know. I mean, that second bullet point under Accenture ServiceNow, that one's good. Like it says a lot. It doesn't say how, but that's okay. But I think probably the thing I'd call out is, this Jeff is going from uh, uh, like a developer lead, and then the title underneath ServiceNow developer. Like, do you ask yourself, how do you want to present yourself? Do you want to present yourself as a lead and continue on the track of being a leader/manager, or do you want to be an IC? And then that should help you determine the order of your bullets and what you want to amplify. So that first bullet point is about leading people and growing people, which is great, but that suggests that you're going to pursue a leadership role. The reason why that matters is because if I only have an IC role, an individual contributor, and I see your resume, I'm just going to pass on it because I'll say, well, this person only wants to be a lead, right?
Yeah,
So
you
you
got it.
have to
And I
make
know
sure that
Jeff
it's
wants
speaking
to.
to what you're applying for.
Yeah, Jeff and I had lunch yesterday with the Dads in Tech group. Jeff does want to move into leadership eventually, but I think Jeff, if you're ever looking for a job, all of these things are signals to hiring managers, right? That's why you got to be very careful with what you put in your resume. But again, going back to this thing, technical jargon added, like I will tell you this, like you got to give me a little bit more, Jeff. Maybe not 4 pages, but also too, Jeff, you've been in the professional space now for like 4 years. Like it's okay to go over a page. Like you're not a junior guy anymore. Thoughts on that, Alicia?
I think don't go to 4 pages.
Well, you're the
but,
one page guy. I always forget. You're the worst.
Yeah. No, but what I would say is if you could say, in 2 words, like how you did what you did, and what I mean by 2 words, like using this tool, right? Using this profiler, using this technology, using whatever, like just if you state it, then to someone who knows, they'll know and they'll ask you more on the interview, right? It's not necessarily the place where you kind of really dissect your whole problem there. So I wouldn't put in, more than a sentence or 2. I try to just limit myself to just 1 sentence and then get into the details in the interview. But so as long as you capture enough of like the details that show and convey that you know what you're talking about, I think that's good enough.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're at 4 minutes until Bjorn's supposed to come up. Bjorn, if you want to go ahead and come up, if you're watching this, go ahead and use that link that should have been sent to you by Angelos or Jason, and feel free to come up because let's go ahead and knock out your interview. And then Noah, if you're watching, once we're done with Bjorn, go ahead and hop in. Close to the end of his, and we can go from there. So. Alicia, any more kind of thoughts on what you're seeing when you're interviewing people right now? Or actually, have you interviewed anybody at Microsoft lately?
Not in the last little bit.
Okay.
It's been a bit. Yeah.
When you have been interviewing for Microsoft in the past, what's kind of some things you like to see on a resume that stand out as it relates to the role? Never mind. Hold that thought. We got Bjorn. What's up, man?
Good evening.
What's going on? It's good to see you.
Good to see you too as well.
Awesome. Well, all right, Bjorn, real quick. This is going to be pretty quick, rapid fire here. Give us a little bit about yourself real fast so we can think about a question or two to ask you. So if you want to give a quick overview of yourself.
I've been developing for about 17 years. I've been in web development, especially PHP, for about 15 years now. And I'm focusing on microservices and APIs at the moment, both testing-wise as well as building them.
I love that. Alicia, what are your thoughts on that answer right there?
I love a PHP developer. Like, that is so near and dear to my heart. So that's going to be my question. So you said 15 years PHP?
Yeah, about 15 years and a month.
Okay, so that I'm gonna roughly say that goes from like 4 to 5-ish, and then so given how PHP's evolved over the years, like what are the things that most excited you? What were the things that most frustrated you? What was your general? Tell me more about how you adapted to the changes that happened in PHP over that time.
Yeah, I have to say I started with PHP 5, so I luckily I had classes relatively early on. What excited me in the beginning was the adaptability of PHP and the automatic conversion of types. The more experience I got, the worse that was from my experience because it made it less predictable, and I was really happy about types being involved later on in version 7 and 8 with enums as one of the latest additions. They have made testing and especially static analysis very easy by now.
Follow-up question: How did you, during those changes, because they were some pretty dramatic changes, like how did you stay informed and up to date about all those changes as they were happening? Like, were you ahead of them? Did you see that they were coming, and then did you take any code bases and actually then migrate them over to like the newer versions at any point?
Yes, definitely. I've been in open source, which has helped me stay up to date. Besides that, I have worked with current PHP versions for different employers in different fields, with upgrades for Typo 3 in the beginning quite often, and later that's a CMS, which is not common in the US to my knowledge. And later on with upgrade of bigger systems with multiple million lines of code that were transformed into microservices while being a monolith on PHP 5.3 still running.
And then, so how did you stay up to date though? That was the one other question.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Mostly with open source and with projects on the side.
Okay. So okay. All right. I think I'll pause there because I know.
Yeah. Let's break down. First off, let's break down. Here are my thoughts on Bjorn's kind of first. Hey man, tell me about yourself. Right. I liked it. I think you could have given me a little bit more. Right. Hey, 15 years of development experience. Pretty much all of it's been within PHP. You kept my attention. I get very distracted very easily. But like you kind of stopped, and I was like, give me a little bit more, right? Like what are you doing now, right? Like what do you want to do? Just kind of some basic stuff. But overall, I would say I love that you did not go long on the, hey, tell me about yourself question, right? That's been the primary thing. Alicia, I'm going to flip it over to you with all the technical PHP stuff, because I don't know what happened.
So I agree with Taylor, and I'd say with that intro, the one thing I would say to anyone is, this is your shot to tell me the one thing that we might walk away from the interview and I might not ask you to question and you won't be able to tell me, right? So tell me that one thing that you really, really want me to know, right? So it could be PHP developer for 15 years and I launched a product that had, 10 million users, blah, blah, blah. Tell me that. Make sure it's in there, because that's going to be the thing that will sometimes even completely take the interview in a different course. Or because you might just tell me something and I'll be like, I want to know more about that. And then we'll have spent most of the time just talking about something that we both get really passionate about, which is fantastic for an interview, because it's all of a sudden like you shift from, I'm going to be super scrutinous of everything that you say, to, oh, we're vibing. We're like actually both. And then all of a sudden I like you. And that's the trick to an interview, right? You want me to get you to like you as fast as possible. You said PHP, which helped a lot. So I think overall, just in terms of how you spoke, in terms of what you spoke about, it was very clear that you had a depth of knowledge around how PHP has evolved over the years. Anyone who knows PHP well knows a lot of the changes that have happened. So, I didn't need, that's not the type of thing that I would sit there and then probe more into. Some people they might ask you to prove something or show something, but I think just generally, if you, in terms of what you talk about, in terms of starting with the classes and then mentioning enums, all that, showed that you know what you're talking about. I would say probably one of the things to always look out for, and it's totally okay to take your time and make it a conversation, is, I intentionally tried to slip in a bunch of questions all at once. Not necessarily to try keep you off guard or anything. It's not necessarily to be a gotcha, but it was more just, I wanted to kind of get a sense of your overall passion of the space. And so, when you're passionate, it comes through in terms of excitement. It comes through in terms of the speed at which you talk. And that was the thing that I was wanting to get from, okay, a lot about it, but let's hear, is open source enough? Or do you actually are you part of the, I don't know, do you go to PHP conferences, or do you, you know what I mean? Those types of things that just let me know what types of things you do in addition. Those are always super valuable. And so you want to look out for those kinds of questions, because it's the how do you stay informed? How do you stay up to date? It gets asked in so many different ways, but it's all looking for are you learning as it comes just very organically, or are you someone who really it is genuinely something that you love doing, and so you want to stay up to date with it? Does that help?
Yeah, it does. It's an interesting experience from German hiring questions. The focus is very different.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and again, my big thing, just to stress, it's, I would say at the end of the day, recruiters and hiring managers are going to want to know the biggest thing you've worked on, what's the most thing you're proud of, how are you continuing your education, how active are you involved in the community? I literally talked with somebody. Who did I go? Oh, Brian Holt yesterday on my podcast. He literally said he looks for people that have an opinion on something, right? So I think if you can kind of keep those four things in mind off the bat, especially about me, here's the huge thing I've done, here's how I stay involved, here's how I stay updated, and then the questions have that opinion. And back it up. I think that's a great framework. So
let me also give you a little bit of a joker card to always pull out whenever there's a type of question like that that's hard to answer. You can always put it back to the person asking. So for example, you can say, I've had a hard time finding good resources. There are some things that I like to check out, but nothing consistent. Do you have any recommendations? Because I would love to know what you use. And then that puts me on the spot where I'm like, oh man, I haven't been, reading up on this as much or anything, but it creates a dialogue, right? And it becomes a lot more natural. And in asking that, it shows me that it's showing that passion. It's just showing it in a different way. You're saying, I want to get better at this. You seem to be an expert. Tell me, what do you look at so I can actually start reading up on those things?
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
But great
Thanks,
job.
Bjorn.
Like,
Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it for joining us. Noah hopped in, so we're going to bring Noah up on. Bjorn, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Have a great Friday.
All right, you too. All righty.
What's up? There we go.
There we go. What's up, dude? It's good to see you.
You too. I got to close YouTube. I'm seeing double here.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. So, obviously know Noah very well. So, I'm a little biased here. So, Alicia, I'm gonna let you lead this, man. So, real quick, Noah, I'll ask this question.
Mm-hmm.
Tell Alicia and myself about yourself. What are you doing now? What do you want to do, etc.?
Yeah. Well, first off, nice to meet you, Alicia. I'm Noah. I am currently a career switcher. I am changing from digital media to software development. I'm going through a boot camp at Nashville Software School, primarily focusing on full stack web development. So my tech stack is JavaScript, React, C#.net, and I currently have 3 months left in my back end, and then I'll be on the search for my first developer role.
Awesome. What triggered the switch?
Really, I just wanted something more. So I've always been a person who wants a challenge and enjoys learning. So looking into software, I originally started in college for computer science. And then after realizing college wasn't the route for me, I actually reached out to Taylor asking for how I could stay in tech, but not go the college route. He suggested a boot camp. So I did some looking around there, found Nashville Software School. And then really just wanting something that I can do to make the world a better place. So my goal with software development is to develop software that makes people's lives easier, can generate some kind of product that is helping others and giving back to the community that I'm a part of now. That's one thing I'm really passionate about is giving back to those who have been so kind to me, and that's something I've really enjoyed about the tech community so far. So yeah.
Tell me some about some of the projects that you've been working on. Like, I'm curious to know what you've built so far, what you learned.
Yeah, so primarily I've been focusing on CRUD apps. That's how I've been learning most software development so far. Currently, something I'm working on is a RESTful API that is taking, it's basically a Spotify. So categorizing data with SQL, with artists, songs, genres, and learning how the database works with doing stuff like that. And then another thing I built is a wish list app. So basically, it's almost like a social media platform. This was my capstone for my front end part of my program, where basically you can take something that you want, put it into a list, and then share that with your friends. So that way, when it comes around to like Christmas, birthday, anything like that, your friends can go there, look to see what they something that you would want, and then they can purchase that for you anonymously, and then it is automatically removed from your wish list, and you can basically share something like that. It's basically like a Secret Santa that you can. It takes out that what should I get this person without having to ask them.
Wait, I need that.
I'm currently building the actual backend for it because the front end, I hadn't obviously learned how to build a database or anything like that. So I'm going back right now and kind of refreshing it with a proper backend.
Have you, I'm generally curious, like, have you leveraged any AI in your coding?
So that's something I'm actually working on right now for my backend capstone. I'm working on developing an agent. So basically it's going to take a library of video games that you own. So take a platform like Steam, right? You have all these games that you've bought throughout multiple years. You want to know how much that library is worth. So I'm basically taking OpenAI's model, integrating that into the backend with .NET and C#, and basically you'll be able to input your library saying, hey, I own this, this, and this, and it's going to search using that agent to tell you what the most accurate price is and give you an estimate of how much your collection is worth. So that's one AI project that I'm working on currently.
Alicia, anything else?
Awesome. No, I'll stop with my questions.
Okay.
Well, I can keep asking.
So-
Push the feedback.
Yeah. So, from a answer question, Noah, you went and maybe not. So at least you correct me if I'm wrong. You went a little long.
Yep.
In some instances, you got nervous. I know you, so it's unfair.
Yeah.
I hate when people go and things like that and stuff like that.
I know.
Like that. It frustrates the ever living dickens out of me.
Yep.
So stop that.
Yep.
And like also too, like, I mean, Alicia, let me know your thoughts on this. Like, if you just feel like you're going off the rails, be like, hold on, time out. Can I restart my answer? And because I think a lot of times, because I could feel you actively trying to get out of the hole you were in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I could feel you talking, and I could feel you in the back of your brain go, I got to get out of this somehow. And I think you would have been better if you'd have been like, all right, time out. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm struggling here. Like, let me do this again. Alicia, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I what I saw was the building of comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got way better.
Initially,
like the last
that question.
few questions.
Yeah. So and that's why that first response, because it's always an introduction, right? It's always tell me about yourself in some way, right? That one should be the most rehearsed one, not like a script, but you should be so comfortable with what you want to answer. And I think part of it is knowing what you need to say in there. The
Sure.
one thing that I'd say was really missing from that intro was stuff that you worked on. And especially for someone who is still in like a boot camp program, still learning, hasn't graduated yet, that can be tough because, like if it's an entry level role, it's all going to be about what have you done? Why are you doing this? Is there longevity to this person in this career? And so hearing I've worked on this, I'm doing this is super, super important. Where I saw the switch to comfort, and I want to definitely call this out, is frame the problem every single time. Okay. So you did this initially in your intro. You didn't do it in your intro, and then you did it later on. So you mentioned something that you did for Spotify. I don't know what it does. Right. But then later you talked about the wish list thing and you said, hey, this is kind of like this app that does this, but frame it as like, imagine you are in the elevator and you're doing your elevator pitch to a potential investor. Right. So I've always had this problem where my friends don't know what to buy me and they always buy me socks, and I like socks, but I have too many socks. So I want them to know the types of things that I want, but not in a way that feels very obvious. And so I wanted to tackle that problem. And the cool thing about that problem is it's not only then a mobile app, it's not only something that has a website to it as well. It integrates with Amazon and it's got this cool back end, and I'm getting to use AI too, blah, 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 right? You start with what thing that you actually want to solve, because at the end of the day, every software developer is a problem solver. So start with what your problem is, and then weave into that the different technologies and the things that you're able to leverage. Now you're telling a very cool story. You kind of did that naturally. That's why you got more comfortable. And I could tell you were more comfortable with it. But that's the structure of that you want to have down so that you can easily kind of, it lets me hear what you're doing and gets me interested. As opposed to if you just throw a lot of I did some, back end work with C# and then it's got the SQL layer. I'm like, okay, but what? Is it just like a calculator app that's using SQL for some reason? I don't know what to do with that, right?
Yeah, and I think so. This popped in my brain. So, one of the guys, our head of sales, Pat Griffin at Torque, he's amazing at storytelling. Like almost everything. So we were in the rebrand meeting in Boston, and he's like, everything he says, and he doesn't do it annoyingly. He just is so good at intertwining specifics of his past life or his career in consulting. And with Noah, you're like, I want to change the world. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, dude. Everybody wants to change the world, right? And again, you're my friend, so I can dig in on you a little bit. But how? What part? If we're trying to change the world, what part are we changing, right? And so be like, yo, I'm really passionate about this specific instance of for example, what part of the world do you want to change?
So like my brother has special needs, right? So I want to
Right.
make software that helps his life easy, make his life easier.
Why the hell didn't you say that?
I panicked.
Exactly. I know you did. I know you did. Right. So again, I mean, so just like everything needs to come. Now, I'm not asking you to be like Socrates every single time in these long ass stories and people get boring. But like when you feel yourself being vague, like bring it back to a specific instance.
Mm.
Right. Bring it back to an instance. Right. My brother has special needs. I'm passionate about that. I want to develop software that helps individuals have special needs. Like that's going to resonate. And then like if the interviewer has friends or kids that are special needs as well, like then immediately you've unlocked a new relationship with that person.
Sure.
So cool.
Cool.
All right, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Otherwise,
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks. I appreciate that. All right. See you guys. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right, Alicia, that was
Yes.
fun.
It was.
Any last thoughts? Any last thoughts? Words of wisdom from the legend yourself?
Well, super, super awesome job to everyone. Like the interviews, way to be vulnerable, way to do this live. I mean, that takes so much to do. So just big shout out to those two.
Yeah, it's hard.
And then like submitting your resume. It's yeah.
I was texting Jason backstage, and I was just like, I was like, this is very hard to do. I was like, this is terrifying to like literally get on a live. Like I'm used to it, but like most people aren't used to just going on live with sometimes two strangers they don't even know and asking questions. So Bjorn, thank you for coming on. Noah, obviously, thank you for putting yourself out there. But the fact of the matter is, this is the type of stuff that's going to get you better. Like this is it.
Absolutely. And there's so many other resources out there. There's so many good things out there. So it's like just leverage. One thing I notice and I'm trying to do more is like the distance that I have like from the camera. I've learned that this gets in people's comfort zone. It's kind of like if we were personally like I'm
Very
right up in
separate.
your face.
Yeah, it's very yeah.
And so let them see your upper. Let them like sport a cool shirt and let them see it, and then that way it's, you're kind of creating the right kind of separation that makes it feel good. So there's a lot of good things out there to just like help yourself out.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, y'all. You guys have a good one. Alicia, stay on so I can say bye to you backstage. Appreciate y'all. Have a great weekend. See y'all next week. Peace.